Hey, so today I'm going to be talking about my PowerPoint, which I decided to go over the topic of movie soundtracks. This is called The Power of Music and Film, and I chose the movie soundtrack of Interstellar. So this is my introduction to most movie soundtracks. Um, so these are, I think that movie soundtracks are important because they help set the mood for the audience. Like myself, I personally feel that um, the music will tell parts of the story without even having to use words. And I think that a good soundtrack will make scenes actually more emotional and memorable. And it's basically just another level of storytelling. And as I mentioned here, they build the music can build suspense, highlight important moments, and give characters and events recurring musical themes. So, why do these actually matter? Soundtracks matter because it enhances the emotional impact of scenes, and I like when it builds the excitement during the moments that are important throughout the movie. And it can make a sad scene even sadder, or make an action scene feel way more intense and more powerful. I just think that the music builds the emotion and it creates a tension, and it helps us connect deeper with the characters. So some background on the movie is Interstellar is a sci-fi movie. It was directed by Christopher Nolan, released in 2014. And basically it's about a pilot named Cooper who he's traveling through a wormhole to find a new planet for humans after Earth starts dying. And the story mixes science, space exploration, and emotion. And the emotion part comes in because the whole thing is that he has to leave his daughter, and when he comes back to Earth, they're not the same age anymore. But yeah, so they face a lot of challenges, with black holes and dangerous planets, and yeah, it's a really great movie. I recommend I recommend you go watch it. And here's just before we get into everything, this is why I chose Interstellar. It's one of my favorite movies, and I've always loved rewatching it. My dad showed me it when I was little, and yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. So I just thought I remember how good of a soundtrack it had, and it inspired me to make this PowerPoint. So this is Hans Zimmer, and he is obviously the recorder, the composer for Interstellar. And I would say he's one of the most famous film composers, and he's worked on several movies like Inception, Gladiator, The Lion King, and Interstellar. Um, he is very well known for creating a dramatic music that connects with the audience. And I think that his work in Interstellar was actually one of his best because it's both powerful and emotional in every song he uses. Um, but yeah, he is very, very well known to use Liet motifs, and he's won multiple awards, like an Academy Award for The Lion King, so he's very well decorated. So, some techniques he uses throughout this movie, by the soundtrack, were the Liet motifs and the orchestration. I'm so sorry, I could not say that. Um, and yeah, so in the song Cornfield Chase by Hans Zimmer, he uses the technique of leitmotif, and I will play that for a little bit. So he uses the character Cooper, and he uses Cooper's love for his family and his determination, which is represented throughout the song. And basically, the composer plays with silence, layering, and volume, which builds the tension and emotion throughout the scene where he is um, leaving his family. So yeah, that was one of the techniques. Um, so emotion through music. This The composer did a great job of building tension during the space travel and danger, and there was a few minor key and slow tempo for suspense, and then major keys and swelling chords to show hope. And actually, in the song, one great example is in the song "Stay," which plays when Cooper leaves his daughter Murph. The slow piano and strings make the scene feel more heartbreaking because it makes you feel more sad. And the music builds up as the emotions get stronger, which helps us feel the sadness and love that is shared between them. So I'm going to play a little bit of it. No! Sorry, it's loud, but you can see how it's a flashback of him when he had to leave his daughter to go into space. So you can see how the music builds up for as the separation becomes harder to watch. But yeah. So this is how music foreshadows events in Interstellar. And in the docking scene, we see that the song "No Time for Caution" starts playing, and I think that the intense organs and fast tempo warns us that something big is about to happen. You know, the music starts building up, and it builds suspense, and it makes the moment feel much more dangerous and important. And it foreshadows that this scene could change everything. So I'll play a little bit. Oops.
What happens if you blow it to your life? Nothing good.
Okay, pull back. Retro thrusters, everything you got, Case.
I'm not gonna play all of it, but you can see how the music is building up in that scene. So when the soundtrack overpowers the story. Yeah, in some scenes, the music in this movie can be quite loud, and it makes the dialogue a little harder to hear. And the director, Christopher Nolan, and Hans Zimmer, the composer, actually specifically did this to make the soundtrack feel more overwhelming, which matches the intensity of the space and emotion. And actually, there was some negative feedback on this from people that watched the movie for the first time, saying it was too loud and it kind of distracted them from the scenes that were happening. So I guess it's up for debate. It's just your personal choice if you prefer a louder, more intense sound. I personally don't mind it because I think it does a good job at showing the intensity. But basically, in the scene I have here, it's the tidal wave scene on Miller's planet, and the song "TikTok" plays loudly, which pretty much just builds the intense suspense as the crew races against the huge waves that are coming against them. And this music kind of drowns out the dialogue and sound effects, which makes the audience focus more on the tension and urgency of the moment rather than the character's words. So let's play a little bit of that.
We need the recorder.
And it gets more intense as it goes on. So why the soundtrack is effective? Basically, I think it's effective because it brings out emotion, like the song "Stay," which shows Cooper leaving Murph, and it makes the scene feel more, heart-wrenching. And the music supports the story as well, which is seen in the song "Cornfield Chase," which reflects to me Cooper's curiosity and connection to his family. It's building tension from the song "No Time for Caution" because it makes the docking scene feel more urgent. And then it matches the visuals to the movie because the organ and strings used in the space scenes kind of show the vastness and danger of space travel. But yeah, here is the Interstellar soundtrack on vinyl picture I showed. I think it's pretty cool. And then my concluding thoughts. I think that the soundtrack shows that music can tell a story and kind of guide emotions. Um, I just think that Hans Zimmer, his score doesn't just support the story almost, it helps tell it, you know? Of course, the music adds emotion, tension, and depth, which makes the movie feel honestly unforgettable because every time I think of this movie, I think of how beautiful the soundtrack was and how great it worked with the movie itself. And this to me just proves that soundtracks are a huge part of what makes films so impactful. And they play a key role in every scene. Every scene with the soundtrack, um, the songs are there on for a purpose. And I just think it's a great way to get to know the storyline better because music kind of reveals what's happening in the scene. And here's my works cited. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.